Hi. So if can Dawn get on Restream so I can turn my own face off? Okay.
Jill's asking if you can get on. Do you have to invite him?
No, it's the same link. Hi. So if Dawn,
Same,
can
yeah.
Dawn get IO, but yeah. Is he trying to use the link that I sent him before for the guest, like the guest invitation?
He's looking for the right thing. He cannot find it.
Okay, let me look at my email.
You emailed it to him?
Yeah.
Is there any way that you can send it to him, Jill?
I'm looking. Sure. I think it came directly from them, but maybe not. Sorry, my email is just being slow.
That's okay.
Let's see. Here it is. Okay. No, it was for me. I'll send it right now.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah. Oh God, I've got 5 people watching me right now. And I'm doing like literally nothing except talking on the phone. But I can't turn it off because then I'll lose it. So as soon as Dawn gets on there, then I can hide it. Okay, great. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you tonight to Friends of Covington's 29th Beautification Awards event. I'd like to extend a particular thank you and congratulations to those of the winners of this year's program. We're awfully proud of you and the work that you have done, and we're delighted that so many people in Covington are going to be able to see and hear all of the work that you have put into your homes and businesses that have made Covington what it is today. My name is John Nyland, and I'm very pleased to be the president of Covington for this year. Normally, we are in a very large room filled to capacity with friends and family. The most recent years, we have been at the Behringer Crawford Museum, a delightful place to hold a facility. But due to the problems caused by the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, we're unable to do that. And so instead of being in a room that is filled with people, we're in a room with 5 people who are religiously wearing their mask unless they are speaking to you. In the 30 plus years that Friends of Covington has been a civic organization in our city, we have recognized literally hundreds of homeowners, business people, citizens, civic leaders, professionals included in those individuals. We have Mr. Ralph V. Hale Jr., Justice Donald Wintersheimer of the Kentucky Supreme Court, the Catalytic Fund CEO, Gene Schroer, restaurateurs Emily Wolf and Paul Wetman, real estate developers Eva and Oakley Ferris, and Tom DeBello, who is the executive director of the Center for Great Neighborhoods. Friends of Covington, I believe, and I believe everybody associated with our organization, believe that we have had a positive impact on our city and its residents. I would like to encourage you to learn more about Friends of Covington and go online and look at our website. It will tell you a great deal about Friends of Covington and of our history, which I think you'll find very interesting and hopefully interesting enough where you might be interested in becoming a member of the Friends of Covington. We have a special guest with us tonight, someone who really requires no lengthy introduction, but someone who I think we're all delighted to hear from. So it's with great pleasure that I present to you Mr. Joe Meyer, the mayor of Covington. Joe?
Thank you, John. Good evening, everybody. This is one of my favorite events of the year. This is a night when we get together and we celebrate the people who are making Covington's neighborhoods an even better place to live. And you'll see homes from throughout Covington, just not certain neighborhoods, but neighborhoods throughout the city. So you get a really broad view of what Covington is all about. I want to thank the Friends of Covington. Organizing and putting on an event like this takes an awful lot of work. And tonight is the culmination of hours of reviewing applications and nominations and recommendations and driving out throughout the city to get pictures and to get together to make judgments and prepare scripts and do all of what it takes to put on a show like this. It's a lot of work. We really do appreciate their effort because they do help remind us of the people who make Covington the great place that it is. Covington's revitalization, the revitalization of our neighborhoods, and I think we'll all agree that now is a special time in Covington's history where we're seeing more investment, more energy, more positive events happening in the city than we have for a number of years. But the foundation of all of this work isn't driven by big money investors. It's being driven by people like the folks we are honoring tonight, individuals who are taking care of their space, their house, their yard, investing in their little lot and making it as good a place as they can make it. And it's collectively that attitude that creates the environment for others who want to come in and make larger investments or make additional investments in their neighborhood. So tonight is special because we recognize the people who are the salt of the earth and the backbone of our community. So, I want to congratulate the honorees tonight and thank you for making Covington a better place and a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Back to John.
Thank you, Joe. This evening, you're going to have the opportunity to see a number of PowerPoint presentations that will let you get a feel for the communities that we went into to decide who was going to be an award nominee. And we're delighted to have as our Master of Ceremonies this evening, my good friend and fellow director on the Friends of Covington, Mr. Don Mays. Don is one of those people that Joe referred to that has put in a tremendous amount of work into putting this program on. And we extend thanks to Don for that work, and we're delighted that you're going to be able to hear him this evening. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, John. I've been told I need to make sure that I've got my PowerPoint ready to go, so let me get that going. 1 second here. All right, beautiful. Okay, we're guessing that most of you would like to get to bed before midnight, so let's get right into the 2020 Beautification Award winners. So sit back, relax, and grab your popcorn and enjoy the show. Okay, first up is the Central Business District, and the winner was Zimbolt Education Center. The mission of the ARC, oh, sorry, got ahead of myself here. First, we have a list of all the winners, and we will be posting this on our website later on. It is being recorded, so you'll be able to go back and listen to all my goofs, which will be great. Next, we want to go through our sponsors and supporters. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. Under the Stargazer level, we have Don and Sue Corkin, Darlene and John Nyland. Under the Passion Flower, we have Ashbrook Airbnb, Linda and Dan Carter, Don and Tally Mays, New Rift Distilling, The Party Source in Bellevue, Seco Electric, Bob Zapps. Under the Sunflower level, we have Megan Clare, Fetter Seed and Feed, John Myling, Jill Morans and Tim Marsh, Greg and Bev Paith, Sandy Rigger. And here's a list of our officers and directors. As you can see, we've got about 12 to 15 directors, so we do have quite a big crowd to go through and talk about different things that we'd like to do in Covington. And finally is the statement of purpose for the Friends of Covington. The purpose of the Friends of Covington is to bring together enthusiastic supporters of Covington, whether they be residents, businesses, or organizations. Our goal is to enhance the quality of life in the community through communication, activities, and projects designed to foster pride and encourage positive development. Now we're on to our first winner, and that's the Main Strass, and that winner is the Lawrence Law Firm at 606 Philadelphia. Main Strass Village is distinguished by many beautiful Italianate and Victorian homes in a neighborhood that radiates out from the commercial strips that run down Main and 6th Street. However, it can be argued that the high Victorian Gothic mansion at the corner of Philadelphia and 6th Streets really catches the eye of visitors of the village. The massive red brick building is designed and built in 1874 by an architect for his daughter and son-in-law. An imprint into the stonework at the top of the front of the building attests to the year of construction. It has served multiple prior owners as a private home, a nursing facility. It was operated as the Park Hotel for many years, There are even stories that many years in the past, it was known as a house of ill repute. The Lawrence firm is a law firm founded in 1971 that represents families and individuals injured as a result of medical malpractice, vehicle accidents, dangerous drugs, and medical devices. The firm bought the building in 2004 and began a long and detailed restoration. The work included painting the exterior an eye-catching red brick building in addition to increase the square footage, adding in a solarium, as well as investing in extensive landscaping that was designed to be warm, inviting, and consistent with the landscaping in the neighborhood. Besides the building's beauty, a historic significance in Main Strasse, 606 Philadelphia, also is a location that easily accessible to Lawrence firm attorneys and other staffers and clients from both Northern Kentucky and Southern Ohio. A spokesperson said ownership of the firm has great confidence in Covington and admires the willingness of the residents to come together and work for the common good of the city. The new stores, restaurants, apartments, and condos confirm that the feeling of confidence is shared by others. The Lawrence firm also made it clear that it would like to see a rebirth of the Main Strasse Village Association, the business association that had promoted and organized events in the neighborhood for decades. Next up, the Central Business District, the Zimbrot Educational Center at 104 West Pike Street. The mission of the Point Arc of Northern Kentucky at the corner of Pike and Washington in Covington's Central Business District is to provide opportunities to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities so that they can reach their highest potential educationally, residentially, socially, and vocationally. The Point Arc was founded in 1972 and has been most successful in carrying out the mission in order to impact the people they work with. The Point has established successful businesses that employ the disabled. The businesses include the Point Perk Restaurant, a commercially laundry facility that serves several large hotels in Greater Cincinnati, and the Point Apparel that does silk screening and embroidery in Latonia. Point employees are paid minimum wage with regular merit reviews. The Point owns 14 group homes and 2 apartment buildings that help address the residential needs of the disabled. Social needs are met through out-of-state vacations and sports, as well as game nights that are under the supervision of the Point staff. The Zimbrot Educational Center is an important element of the Point's program. The center was conceptualized in 2016, received construction approval in 2017, and was completed in 2020. It occupies a space behind the Point offices. It will provide additional space so that the Point Arc can serve even more people than it has in the past, increasing capacity from 400 to 500 to several thousand. A spokesperson for the Point said, "The new building that fronts on Washington Street was made possible by generous contributions from members of the Covington community, especially Dr. Anthony and Geraldine Zimbrot." Our next winner is Latonia West, and that is Robert and Robin Bevan of 2843 Ashland Avenue. Several miles south of the Central Business District in Latonia, which was an independent city until it merged into Covington in 1909, Robert and Robin owned an impressive federal-style home that dominates the intersection of Ashland and Southern Avenues on the west side of Latonia. The home was built in 1963, and Robin said she and her husband Robert purchased it in 1992 when they began a fairly extensive renovation that included the installation of new windows, removing the windows that had enclosed what was now a large patio that is under roof, and some extensive landscaping on a sizable corner lot. She said she and her husband aren't the only people in the neighborhood who have invested time, energy, and money in landscaping and exterior maintenance. A lot of neighbors have done a lot of work on their property, and they are beautiful, she said. Robin said she and her husband enjoy using the patio when the weather allows. Robert works in the concrete business for Siller Excavation in Ohio, and Robin is a retired insurance claims adjuster who worked for Ohio Casualty. Congratulations, Robert and Robin. Next, we go to Hellentown, where Luther and Darlene Biggs at 1527 Scott Street received the Beautification Award. Luther and Darlene Biggs have a huge 10-room Victorian and 12-car garage, and that's not a mistake, it is a 12-car garage, and an immense side yard at 1527 Scott Street. Sounds like they have plenty of room and plenty to take care of in the Hellentown neighborhood where they've lived for the last 25 years. Luther is retired from Buddy's Roofing, a company he ran for about 25 years until he decided to step down in February and take it easy now that he's turned 75. Cars and trucks are one of his passions, and that huge garage is big enough to accommodate a dump truck, 2 pickup trucks, a Chevy Tahoe, a 1992 Buick Riviera, and 2 '68 Oldsmobiles. Somewhat surprising, Biggs said he's thinking about selling the fleet. I just feel like I'm getting too old for all the hassles with the vehicles, Biggs said. Biggs said he has had a long-running love affair with his neighborhood. Congratulations, Darlene and Luther. Next, we move on to the historic Licking Riverside and the home of Dennis and Amy Buring at 313 East 2nd Street. Historic Licking Riverside is one of those neighborhoods in Covington that are significant not only for their beauty, but also for their historical contribution that its residents, both past and present, have made to the city. The home of Amy and Dennis Buring at 313 East 2nd Street, known as the historic Muckler House, is a jewel in Covington's crown that was built in 1869, just 2 years after the completion of the Robley Suspension Bridge and 4 years after the Civil War. William Muckler, who was prominent in the tobacco business, built the house on 2nd Street, a short distance from the confluence of the Ohio and Licking Rivers and the Roebling Bridge. The home was purchased in 1890 by Amos Schinkel, a name that is synonymous with the early development of Covington. Schinkel then gave the home to his daughter as a wedding gift. The property stayed in the Schinkel family until approximately 1914, when the Schinkel children donated it to the Salvation Army, which owned and operated a hospital on 2nd Street, just east of the home. Amy and Dennis have owned the Muckler House for 2.5 years. They have not only preserved this treasure, but they have maintained and added to it, always consistent with its Victorian Italianate architecture. The home was given a fresh coat of paint, and an addition was added to the rear. This addition included a covered porch area as well as a garage that reflects the original architecture of the house. The patio area that is used every day when weather permits was enlarged for outdoor dining and entertaining. The landscaping was inspired by well-cared-for homes in their neighborhood, and some of the plants that they have enjoyed were from their previous home. Friends of Covington always hopes that the hard work of prior Beautification Award winners will inspire others to improve their property. Keeping up with the Joneses in the most positive way possible, why the Muckler House, now the Buring House, is certain to inspire others. Amy and Dennis credit others in the Licking Side neighborhood for inspiring them to make lasting and worthwhile improvements to their property. It doesn't get much better than that for the neighborhood and for Covington. Congratulations, Dennis and Amy. Next, we have Kenton Hills. John, I've got a Diet Coke right there. Sorry, I need a little drink here. Need a little Diet Coke. Kenton Hills, the house of Walter and Donna Boakley. On the northern fringe of Devou Park in Kenton Hills, a Covington neighborhood that doesn't look much like anything else in the city. Throughout most of the neighborhood, homes are big, upscale, relatively new, and many of them take advantage of hilly building sites that provide incredible views of the Ohio River, downtown Cincinnati, and much of Covington. The Boakleys are among the fortunate homeowners who have breathtaking views of Cincinnati and the Ohio River from their windows, as well as from a jacuzzi and infinity pool immediately behind their home. They are retired and have lived in Covington and Bellevue for some 37 years. Walter worked at the Kentucky Post newspaper for 15 years and then for Formica Corporation for another 10. They moved to Florida for a while, but then began to long for their old neighborhood in Kenton Hills, where they found a home that could be expanded and renovated to meet their needs and reflect their taste. 2 years later, they had more than doubled the size with some new features that include some Art Deco and prairie architectural elements. The home is dramatic enough from the street, but truly amazing from the rear, which features not only the infinity pool, but beautiful landscaping and a full-size and multicolored fiberglass racehorse, which you saw in the previous slide, decorative element for a Kentucky home. The proximity to Devou Park and the spectacular views above the river were the favorite things that the couples loved about Covington and Kenton Hills. Donna said the pool complements those views and enhances a peaceful evening watching traffic on the river. Congratulations, Walter and Donna. Now we move on to Monte Cassino. Ellen and Gary Herzog, 912 Lorraine Court. Ellen and Gary Herzog live in Monte Cassino, another hilltop Covington neighborhood where many of these more modest homes enjoy impressive views of the Cincinnati skyline, as well as a flyover vantage point for many other neighborhoods for the city. The Herzogs said they have lived in their 50-year-old ranch for 35 years and that they have tacked a long list of improvement and maintenance projects over the years that they've tackled. Those projects include new stamped concrete sidewalks, patio and driveway, and a new front porch, as well as a new roof, siding, windows, and gutters. The Herzogs said they hoped they provide a good example of how to take care of property for some of the other homeowners in the subdivision. Hopefully, they can see our pride in our home, and they will feel better about where they like landscaping, they said. At times, they added, the deer and other animals wind up dropping seeds that the Herzogs have trouble identifying. The Herzogs are retired. Ellen worked in the doctor's offices while Gary handled underwriting reports for insurance companies. Congratulations, Ellen and Gary. Now we're on to East Side and the house of Barbara and David R. Rash Jr. at 1337 Girard. Most homeowners can easily identify their favorite part of the house when they're asked where they prefer to spend most of their time. Should David of 1337 Garrett in the East Side neighborhood be asked that question, the former Marine would likely say that he favors sitting on the front porch whenever the weather permits. Rush, who is 69, is retired after working some 30 years for the Newport and Covington housing authorities, where he handled a long list of maintenance assignments and declined on at least one occasion to take an office job because he didn't want to be cooped up behind a desk all day. In the 24 years he has lived in his home, Rash said he has observed many changes in the neighborhood that would make many East Side residents proud. Rash's home provides ample evidence that you don't have to have a huge house or a big yard in order to make a substantial contribution to the neighborhood and the city of Covington. Over the years, Rash has continued to improve the property, building a fence around much of the perimeter, a new shed for garden equipment, and a fresh concrete for the driveway that runs along the south side of the home. Although it can be difficult to determine, Rash is convinced that the care he takes with his property has been a good example for his neighbors. One way in which he displayed his appreciation for attractive landscaping is by sharing canna lily bulbs, which you'll see in the slide here are the purple plants in the background that he has nurtured in his front yard. Rash estimates that over the years he has probably given away hundreds of canna lily bulbs to people who have stopped by and admired how the lilies frame his front porch so beautifully. His generosity has benefited countless members of his family and friends. Even though he's a Cleveland Browns fan, who are playing the Bengals tonight, by the way, the Friends of Covington is pleased to honor Rash for his contributions to the East Side and the city. So the Bengals game is due to start after this is done, so you can watch the Bengals play the Browns. So congratulations, Barbara and David Rash. Next, we have the house of Yvonne Burkhart at 1812 Jefferson Avenue. Yvonne Burkhart's winter in Pieselberg at 1812 Jefferson Avenue provides more evidence that a home doesn't have to be big on a huge lot to be worthy of recognition. This charming bungalow that dates to 1913 may be small in size, but it packs a punch in curb appeal. Yvonne, a retired teacher from the Covington Independent Public Schools, now enjoys instructing a Zumba exercise class as well as home improvement projects and gardening. Her abundance of energy can be seen in the amazing transformation she undertook, making her home and yard go from bland to an American beauty. The original dark-colored brick was brightened to a clean, fresh white, and the front porch floor was given a fresh coat of stain. New window boxes overflowing with petunias and creeping jenny offer splashes of color alongside the red, white, and blue of the flag and the bunting. Perennial beds and planters burst with summer color as well in the backyard. Yvonne added new fencing, flowers, and bird feeders. When she's not involved in a class or a project, Yvonne enjoys relaxing on her new front porch swing, listening to the soothing sounds of the nearby water fountain. Her neighbors stroll by frequently, doling out compliments and encouragement for the Norman Rockwellish transformation of the property. She believes that her work may have motivated some neighbors to launch projects at their own houses. Yvonne said she has noticed a shift in the city that encourages young families and first-time homebuyers to move in, rehab, and improve many architecturally significant neighborhoods in Covington. She said she was able to utilize a home buying program and hopes this trend continues and grows in other neighborhoods that face home ownership challenges. Thanks for everything you do, Yvonne. Now, some of you may be wondering how we determine who's the winner. And you can see from this list of notes that we take a lot of information that we gather and review and take photos. And this is my clipboard. And you can see all the notes that I took. And some of it is in shorthand that only I can understand. Now on to Mother Goddess. Katie Mix and Ashley Biersbach. In 2012, Ashley and Katie were hunting for the perfect location in Covington that would house a salon they wanted to open. After a thorough search of many of the main thoroughfares in Covington, they came across the building with the witch's hat, an architectural feature that refers to a tower structure that's topped by an inverted cone. Katie and Ashley wondered, is this the place for our business? This is when serendipity played a key role. While visiting Newport, the ladies spotted a Mike Madak painting in the Newport Art Gallery. The painting featured not only the Mother Goddess Church, but the Green Witch's Hat building that is right across Russell Street from Mother of God Church. Once the sale was finalized, a name was needed for the business. Katie Mix knew that the original bus line in Covington was called the Green Line, and that Behringer Crawford displays a beautiful restoration green bus line bus in the museum. They also learned that their building was on one of the original routes for the Green Line buses. Ashley and Katie adopted the face of a wise old owl as their firm's logo. To add a unique addition to an already unique building, Green Line Salon asked Jared Beckert of BLDG Building Designs to plan and paint the owl mural and scroll work on the east side of their building. Jared has also designed and painted the rain barrel, which the salon uses each year in its Save Water, Drink Beer campaign that raises funds to help improve water resources in Kentucky. Katie takes real pride in both the interior and exterior of their building. Katie has adorned the outside with beautiful flowers that hang from the building, as well as pots that line the sidewalks with colorful flowers. Green Line Salon has certainly become the success that Ashley and Katie envisioned. The firm now employs 17 with plans for further expansion. The women and their salon have proven to be significant assets to the city and the Mother Goddess neighborhood. Thank you, Katie and Ashley. South Covington. David and Shirley Capel at 109 Juarez Circle are the Friends of Covington Beautification Award this year winners. If you find yourself driving along Juarez Circle in South Covington at 9 o'clock at night and you spot a woman wearing a headlamp and watering plants, don't get too alarmed. It's probably just Tilly Hill, who lives with her parents, David and Shirley Capel, at 901 Juarez Circle. While her responsibilities include tending to the landscaping at the home that is the Beautification Award winner for 2020 in Covington's most distant neighborhood. I like everything to look pretty because that's what I do for a living, said Tilly, whose day job is at Studio 27 Salon in Cold Spring. But I just don't like to sweat, she added, explaining that it's much easier to avoid 90-degree temperatures after the sun has been down for a while. Tilly said her 17-year-old daughter, Ariel Liggett, bought her the headlamp for Christmas last year. It's the best gift I ever got, Tilly said. She doesn't go solo on the exterior work, where she gets plenty of help from her father, David, who works for Sam's Club in Florence, and her mom, Shirley, who's recovering now from surgery. The family moved into the house 42 years ago when it was new and have grown to love the neighborhood. But Tilly, named for the actor Telly Savalas, a family favorite, said her family stirred up some neighborhood controversy some 25 years ago when they wanted to build a front porch. Standards that were in place called for all the homes in the subdivision to have consistent setbacks from the street, and the capital porch proposal would have created a structure that violated the regulation. They had to fight for it, but they eventually got it, said Telly, recalling how her parents finally got approval for her porch from a code enforcement board. Telly said it was one of the favorite features of the house and gets plenty of use by family members. We're glad you got your porch and your headlamp. Telly, and congratulations to you, David and Shirley. Wallace Woods, Marilyn Baker and Mike Strobel at 2120 Glenway. This bungalow at 2120 Glenway in Wallace Woods was built in 1914. When Marilyn Baker bought it in 1990, she was one of only a handful of owners. Her husband, Mike Strobel, joined her there 20 years ago. Marilyn was drawn to the house because of the double lot and the privacy provided by the Licking River flood wall behind the property. She later learned her side lot and driveway, the only house on the street that has one, were used in 1946 as parking for the workers who built the flood wall, which ties in with an earthen levee behind the house. Marilyn and Mike call their property a piece of paradise and enjoy walking to the top of the levee every morning to watch the sunrise over the Licking River. Marilyn and Mike call their Marilyn is the owner of Yankee Doodle Deli, a gourmet flavored pretzel company located in Covington. Mike is an auto body tech with Gerber Collision and a talented artist. Mike's twin passions for hardscaping and native plants have made their property a special getaway from their busy lives. He has built a number of walls and sidewalks, as well as a small pond with a waterfall. He enjoys finding just the right stone for a specific spot. His current project is the creation of a hidden garden tucked against the levee. Most of the plants in their yard are native to the area, including goldenrod, twin leaf, May apple, wild ginger, indigo, spice brush, and many others. A huge mullein seated itself in their front yard. Mike's research shows that Native Americans and early settlers brewed its leaves as a tea to treat various respiratory ailments. Marilyn and Mike like living in Covington for its rich history, German architecture, and the vibrant business community. Marilyn especially loves the city's quirky projects like the painted parking lots, murals, and pop-up parks. During normal years, she and Mike enjoy shopping at the farmers market on Saturday and attending concert in DeVue Park. Mike and Marilyn appreciate the increasing number of homeowners in their neighborhood taking pride in keeping their homes and yards looking presentable, and hope the trend continues. They love giving the folks walking the flood wall a good impression of Wallace Woods and of Covington. Congratulations, Marilyn and Mike. West Side, Belletta Crowley at 308 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Belletta's award-winning home sits on one of the busier thoroughfares in Covington, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. A great deal has changed in the several blocks surrounding her property since she purchased it 26 years ago. The street was widened and landscaped islands and lighting were added. A few blocks to the west, what had been the iconic Bavarian Brewery building was transformed into an office complex for Kenton County government. And as the landscape around her underwent a transformation, Belletta made some changes and improved her property, which doubled in size about 4 years ago with the assistance and guidance of Rachel Hastings, formerly of the Center for Great Neighborhoods, which is on the south side of Martin Luther King Boulevard. Crowley purchased the dilapidated house next door. The city eagerly tore down the unsightly building and leveled the land when she gave them an assurance that she would enhance the property. When it came time to do something creative with what was then a vacant lot, Crowley enlisted the help of a good friend and master gardener, Genevieve Washington, to develop a low-maintenance, four-season yard and entertainment space using plants and shrubs that would grow well in the region. Some of the tree and shrub varieties they selected include sky rocket junipers, boxwoods, dwarf blue spruce, and smokebush. Chosen flowers you'll see planted in pots and in the yard include hydrangea, coral bells, daisies, and creeping phlox. Hardscape updates Belletta made were a stamped concrete patio, vintage mailbox, and house numbers, window boxes, paver paths, a vintage wrought iron patio set, and a storage shed painted in the same vibrant turquoise as the house. As a result of the work she's taken on, Belletta said she believes some neighbors have kind of followed her lead and invested more time and energy in their property. Having moved from Chicago, Belletta, a social worker for the Sycamore School District, is excited to be part of the revitalization of Covington. More parks and recreation facilities are on her wish list. Congratulations, Valletta. Time for a small sip. Okay, Latonia East. Stephen and Julie Alsip at 515 East Southern Avenue. Stephen and Julie were living in Burlington about 4 years ago when their daughter Skylar began attending Holy Cross High School in Latonia. The long commute made them think that it might be smart to move closer to the school, which is exactly what they did when they bought a brick Victorian at 515 East Southern Avenue in the East Latonia neighborhood. We love it, Julie said without any prompting. It's centrally located with Florence and Cincinnati, and you can get to anywhere quickly. And we've got excellent neighbors who look out for one another. There's a real sense of community, said Julie, who works as a raw materials planner for Gavaden Flavors, a Swiss company that has offices in both Florence and Cincinnati and creates flavors, fragrances, and ingredients for cosmetics. But the proximity to Holy Cross isn't the only advantage to the Latonia location. The home is also fairly close to some of their favorite breweries, restaurants, and bars, said Julie, whose husband Stephen works in freight forwarding for DHL, the huge German shipping company that has one of its global hubs at the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport. The 8-room Victorian, built in 1908, has kept them busy with a number of revitalization projects, including a new kitchen and a long list of landscaping projects in the front and the back, where the Alsips also created a fire pit area. The outdoor work eventually developed into a pandemic project for Julie and Skylar, who is now a freshman at Western Kentucky University. Nice job, Alsips. Our next winner is in Austinburg, James R. and Angela Johnson at 1616 Garrett Street. James and Angela have owned their property at 1616 Garrett Street in Austinburg for almost 17 years. Based on the immaculate condition of the house and the sprawling side yard, it's apparent that James, a truck driver, and Angela, a nurse, have invested plenty of time and energy in a red brick Victorian townhouse that dates to 1894. James said his hobby is landscaping and handiwork, which is evident when a visitor examines the deck he built a while back and his attention to detail in maintaining the home and planting the yard. The Johnsons believe their efforts to make their home a showplace has inspired others in the Austinburg neighborhood to improve their homes and make Austinburg a more attractive place to live. James contends there is always room for improvement and hopes to see more houses renovated and rehabbed. That's the kind of attitude the Friends of Covington supports, and we thank the Johnsons for all they have done. Next, we move on to Old Seminary Square. The house of Judy Gossi and State Representative Buddy Wheatley at 1001, 1003 Russell Street. Tucked into the Old Seminary Square neighborhood along tree-lined Russell Street is the standout home of Buddy Wheatley and Judy Gossi. Their beautiful duplex was once part of the Western Baptist Theological Institute that dominated this part of Covington from 1840 to 1855. When the issue of